Hey folks, it is the 27th of October 2021 here at Boardwalk Hall. Gone through all of the side chambers now and the fanfare and the echo, so now it's time to start going through some of the chambers in the main chambers, divisions in the main chambers. So one of the most interesting ones of the entire organ, just as far as visual appeal, is up here in the solo. So we're going to do a tour of the solo and great solo divisions. Now, for your reference, the solo divisions are in the right main chamber, kind of up and behind the great, basically. The solo is mostly straight, and the great solo is unit, kind of like the swell choir division on the left side of the auditorium. So I'm up here on the second level of the solo. I'm going to start here and then go down, and then go across into the different great solo chambers. So, turn the camera around here. Oh, just for reference, this is the outside. There's the grill. Here are a couple of unit diapasons out in front. Metal swell shades. Now, this is an interesting arrangement here. This is the 3-rank reed chest on the upper level of the solo, of course. So what you're looking at is the front, these guys, that's the tuba imperial on 50 inches of wind, I believe. I think it's 50. And then you have the bugle, the famous bugle stop with brass resonators, which I believe that is a mid-Merloche stop. That was not Gottfried. But then most interesting of all, of course, is the rank in the back, which is on, yes, 100 inches of wind. This is the other 100-inch reed stop, which is the tuba magna. And it has largely the same thickness of metal. I mean, you can see that that lead is just crazy thick. But this rank does not have anywhere near the impact of the Alpha Clyde, which is lower and closer to the grill. And notice that it does have the, let me get my flashlight here. It does have the little springs to hold them down. And that's, as has been noted before, that's not really to keep them from flying out of the chest because they're so heavy they wouldn't do that, but it would cause noisy wind leaks, which would not be good for anybody, right? And in the back, we have a French horn, harmonic piccolo, viola pomposa, violin celeste, cello celeste, violin 8. That wooden guy right there in the center of the frame is the whole flute 8. Then you have an open metal flute ouverte back there, and then the major flute on the very back row. This division has not been restored and is not at full functionality, even though it's operable, but there are some dead notes, and these chests just haven't been gone through yet. Okay. So now I'm going to head downstairs and show the lower level of the solo. I think I'm going to edit out the climbing and ladders and stuff because that's kind of makes me dizzy to watch, and some people don't like that. So I'll stop here, and next thing you'll see is downstairs. Okay, now we are on the lower section, lower level of solo. Not great solo, just regular old solo. And if this section looks familiar, when I filmed that video about the 4-rank carillon, I was sitting right there, and there's the 4-rank carillon. So, looking at the rank list here, we have English post horn in front with the mitered resonators. Wait, is that right? I think I got mixed up somewhere. I'm looking at the wrong list. No, I'm sorry. Okay, now I see what I'm doing. I got it backwards. That's the trumpet profunda in the front there. Tibia rex, which is metal. Usually most tibias are wood, but this one's metal. Carillon 4, there it is. Strangest stop in the organ so far. walled flute 4, which is this enormous thing right here. Double language, of course. Stentor octave. And then back here, we have trumpet royale, or royal, which has the mitered resonators. You see those. And then behind that is the, the English post horn, which is this guy right here with the flared resonators. And it is very post horny, if you will. And then this entire chest, the back here, is the Grand Chorus 9 rank. So it's basically one huge 9 rank mixture. But if you're wondering how you tune that one, Mid-Merloche was nice enough to include a little switchboard right here. See if I can get the light right. And it actually has Grand Chorus mixture, and you can actually turn each individual rank on and off, or each individual toe board, there you go, with these little connectors here. And this is the rest of the division here. And talk about scaling and everything. Look at the size of these. And I would say do not adjust your monitor. This is a flared pipe. Most of these are actually flared from, they're inverse flared. They're, well, not inverse flared, but they're flared from top to bottom to give them more volume. Because you know on 30 inches of wind you need all the volume you can get, right? So this is the rest of the solo division, and we have offsets going up back of the chamber there, and there's a big wood open of some sort. And then we go to the great solo division. Okay, so we're coming from the solo into the first section of the solo great. Okay, now remember this is mostly unit action. If we look up to the chests above, you can see all the individual magnets up there, right? The swell shades are out right now for repair. That's why there's nothing there. We're looking right through where the swell shades would be into the grill, and you can see the auditorium beyond. So this is the solo great division, lower level, and this is what they called organ tone. This is not the orchestral part. This is the more organish part, if you will. And so from the front, we have a diapason phonon back there in 2 rows on the toe board there, a very wide toe board. And then a Vox Celeste horn diapason, which is somewhat tapered, interestingly. Doppelgedeckt, which is funny because it's not a stopped pipe. It is an open pipe, but it has 2 mouths. But as you can see, there's no stopper in it. It's kind of a strange name for it. Viol de gamba, Gemshorn, and then start with the fun stuff back here. This is a Gemshorn Terz. This is a 3rd sounding mutation rank down here. Okay, so this is the lower level solo great organ division. Now we're going to go upstairs. Okay, so now we're on the upper level of the solo grate, and again, shades are missing, looking out through the grate to the grill beyond. Again, none of this has been restored. This is still waiting restoration, and it's a pretty interesting arrangement up here. So from the front, the walled flute has been taken out of its holes to make room to work on the swell shades. Then you have a Geigen principle. Tibia clausa, look at the scale on that wood guy right there. Gemshorn Celeste, that goes with the Gemshorn downstairs, right? This says Gemshorn Quint on the rank list. That doesn't look like a Gemshorn Quint to me. It looks like the pitch may be right, but it says Gemshorn Quint on that one. And then in the back is Gemshorn Septième, the back rank. And remember that they play at different pitches, so a septième here, you know, could be and is, I guess, 4 4/7 feet tall. Now I'm curious about one thing. What? Oh, yeah, okay. If I can get the camera to focus back there, that pipe says 5th. So it's not a Gemshorn 5th, obviously. That's not any Gemshorn that I've ever seen. Looks like that. But it is a 5th sounding rank. So, and then, as if that wasn't enough, look up. There's the bottom of a 16-foot, I forget what that is, Voice 83. I can't see what that is, but it's a very big Borden of some sort. And you notice that we're right up against the ceiling of the organ chamber up here. You can see it out there. So we're on the very top level. Okay, now I'm going to climb down out of this chamber and go next door into the orchestral division of the solo. Okay, so here we are in the lower level solo grade orchestral division. And this is what I call the reed wonderland, because boy, you want reeds, we got reeds. So, I mean, look at all these, it's wonderful. From the front, we got oboe horn right there, and then English horn with its distinctive flying saucer shaped resonators right there, right? And then an oddball. This is a flute 12th 2 2/3, which took the place of a French horn in here. Why this rank was swapped in here, nobody knows. Nobody's been able to figure it out. But there it is, and it's very big. And then behind there is the, let's see, what is that? This is the saxophone with the kind of Dixie cup shaped resonators with slots on them. And then behind that you have what was a second French horn, which is easy to spot with caps on it. And then in the very back, a crumb horn. Yes, now when I look at these pipes, I think I'm looking at a lead diapason because they're so big, but actually they're reed pipes. But I mean, find me another crumb horn of this scale made of linen finished lead like that. You're not going to find it very often. Now, one of the things I love in this chamber is kind of the outer space looking reed mushrooms down here. That's the 16-foot Vox Baritone, I believe, kind of sprouting up between the bases of a double trumpet. They just kind of stuck them wherever they could. And I mean, the size of these is pretty astonishing. You know, basically it's a 16-foot rankette kind of a thing. And there's just that little slot for the sound to come out. And then in the very back is the rest of that flute 12th, which is enormous scale back there. And then you have a little set of tuning pipes, which may be connected to an old tuning keyboard. I'm not sure, but that's all they're there for. Good thinking, actually. And then more and more offsets, almost up to the ceiling. Okay. Oh, I forgot about this. Looking back there, see that? That's our old friends, low C and C sharp of the 64-foot. Right there. And that's where they lean over to start going toward the front of the room. So I am going to climb up the ladder onto the next level. Okay, here we are on the upper level of the orchestral division of the solo great division. That's a division within a division, basically. And I'd forgotten all about this. Yeah, look back here. There's low C of the 64-foot diaphone, and there is low C sharp. Right there. And this is the point at which they lean over. Get my flashlight here. That's where they make the 90-degree turn and follow the ceiling out through the front of the enclosure out to where I made that video about the 64-foot diaphone. Anyway, looking from front to back here, we have a clarinet. So it has both a clarinet and a crumb horn, and you can see how much smaller scale the clarinet is compared to the crumb horn. And then, let's see, I'm trying to read my notes upside down here. Orchestral oboe is the thin orchestral oboe looking guy right there. Orchestral saxophone is this one, kind of a compound flare stop. And then my favorite, I just love this thing, the Vox Baritone, basically a 16-foot Vox Humana. And I mean, the lead on those things is just so thick. I mean, you would think that this rank spoke on 100 inches of wind because it's built so heavily. And the bottom of this rank is what's down, what I showed you on the lower level. And then a Vox Humana, which looks pretty average. And then a Kinura, which of course is a, you know, straight up theater organ stop on both sides. And if we turn around and look down, we see the 16-foot octaves of the saxophone and the English horn and French horn down there. And then the Vox Baritones are down in between those straight down there. You probably can't see them, but there they are, kind of down at the bottom of the chest there. And as I say, we're up against the ceiling of the organ chamber here. And you can imagine that these I-beams are what they used to hoist the organ parts up when the organ was built. So, that concludes this tour of the solo and great solo orchestral and organ divisions. And later on, I've got ideas for some more videos, and hopefully we do those this afternoon.